Good morning, everyone. My name is Pardeep Kaur, and today I will be presenting my case study on the economics of starting an e-scooter rental firm in Australia. E-scooters have become one of the fastest growing micro mobility options worldwide. In Australia, cities like Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, and have already embraced them. They are popular with young professionals, students, and even tourists who need affordable and sustainable transport for short distances, especially. This presentation summarized the finding of my report looking at both microeconomic and macroeconomics perspective, as well as the challenges, opportunities, and recommendation for entering this market. So let's start. Yes. Here's a quick overview of what I will covering today. First, I will introduce the economic problem and opportunities around e-scooters. Next, I will explain the microeconomic analysis, including scarcity, opportunity cost, demand, and supply. Then I will discuss the competitive landscape and market structure. After that, I'll move into the macroeconomic condition and policy environment. I'll also highlight some of the externalities associated with e-scooters. Finally, I'll share key recommendations and conclude with my overall reflection. The goal is to show whether the business can be successful in Australia and under what condition. From a microeconomic perspective, the e-scooter business faces key challenges around scarcity and opportunity cost. Starting the business requires significant resources. A fleet of 1,000 commercial grade scooter would cost between 300,000 and 500,000 Australian dollars. Additional costs for technology platform, warehouses, and working capital bring the total initial investment to about 750,000 to $1.25 million. This leads to important trade-offs. For example, the business must choose between buying more scooters to cover more area or investing in premium technology such as advanced GPS and user-friendly apps. These trade-offs are represented by the production possibility frontier, which shows the opportunity cost of each decision. On the demand side, the strongest customer segment includes students, young professionals, and tourists. Demand is highly price sensitive. At a price of around $4.50 per ride, we'll say the market equilibrium, but increasing prices by even 10% could reduce ridership by up to 20%. On the supply side, concentrates include global scooter manufacturing, regulatory permits, and local infrastructure for charging and parking. This means that supply is not only determined by cost but also by government approval. Some thoughts about the market structure and competition. The Australian e-scooter market is best described as an oligopoly. A few dominant players like Lime, Beam, Neuron, and Tire control most of the market. There are high entry barriers. These include, of course, of acquiring scooters and building a technology platform, but also strict city-based regulations for operating licenses and safety standards. Because of this, firms tend not to compete aggressively on price. Instead, they use non-price competition strategies such as offering safer scooters, better apps, and wider geographic coverage. The market also shows a moderately high concentration index, which indicates that new firms would need to differentiate themselves with unique strategies, such as focusing on a specific location or delivering superior user experience. Uh, At the macro level, the Australian economy is currently in a recovery phase with GDP growth of about 1.8% annually. This creates opportunities for discretionary spending, including micromobility services. However, inflation and interest rates are also important consideration. Rising costs for labor, batteries, and maintenance could squeeze profit margins. At the same time, high interest rates make debt financing more expensive, so new firms may prefer equity or leasing strategies to acquire their fleet. On the positive side, government policies strongly support sustainable and green transport. There are initiatives around smart cities, renewable energy, and reducing emission, which can work in favor of e-scooter plans. Overall, while the macroeconomics outlook includes risk, the policy environment is relatively supportive for businesses that can align with sustainability goals. Few externalities. Uh, like many forms of transport, e-scooter come with externalities, both positive and negative. The positive externalities include reduced car usage, lower emissions, and better public health from improved air quality. E-scooter also help address the last mile problem by connecting people to public transport. On the other hand, negative externalities are also common. Scooter can clutter footpaths, cause accidents, and still have environmental costs during production and disposal. Government regulation try to manage these impacts through safety rules, parking restriction, and fleet limits. For firms, it is important for not only to comply but also to actively manage these externalities. For example, companies can use technology like geofencing or partner with local councils to improve safety and community acceptance. Some recommendations. Um, to conclude, the e-scooter business in Australia has both challenges and opportunities. Based on my findings, I recommend the following. First, obtain regulatory approval early, since without license, operation cannot begin. Second, adopt a phased launch, starting small in high demand areas such as university campuses or inner city suburbs before expanding. Third, differentiate the service by investing in reliable technology and strong safety measures. Fourth, use dynamic prices to maximize scooter usage. For example, charging more during peak times and offering discount during quiet periods. Finally, manage externalities responsibly through community engagement and sustainability reporting. At the end, overall, the Australian micromobility sector has significant growth potential. However, success depends less on the size of the market and more on the ability of a firm to strategically manage cost, regulation, and community impact. A carefully planned, socially responsible business can thrive in this space. Thank you so much.